Hello and welcome back. Today we're doing something a little different. I'm going to be telling you about a brand new video game. So get yourself a cup of tea or a coffee and buckle in. Creatures of Ava is a new and unique creature saver game that was released recently on Xbox and PC, and in this video I'm going to be giving you a list of reasons that Creatures of Ava should be in your cozy game collection in 2024. This is a brand new game that transports you to the enchanting world of Ava, but before anything else, Creatures of Ava is a vibrant, cozy and visual masterpiece. From the wild lush landscapes to the calming music that plays throughout your journey while you interact with nature. Set on a colourful open world planet called Ava, this game features protagonist Vic, and you are tasked with cleansing and saving creatures as well as the landscape with your staff called a Naphtha. When using this item, it reveals a beam that sucks up all the withering. And the withering is the infection that has spread far and wide on planet Ava, turning the once friendly creatures into ravaged attackers and the once radiant scenery into how my backyard looks after I've neglected it to play video games. Although that isn't all the game is about, there are plenty more elements that the game implements to give you a sense of wanting to complete achievements and spend hours making sure you've mastered all of the tasks in each area of the map. But don't be put off by having to walk around everywhere though, as it seems Vic is very quick on her feet and there are unlockable fast teleports covering the world. Secondly, and this is probably a really personal choice when it comes to reasons I enjoyed playing this game, but the NPCs you meet in this game, called Nam, who are the natural inhabitants of Ava and wish not to be disturbed by the human race, have been written to be really funny and witty. And I usually don't enjoy reading lots of dialogue, but luckily that doesn't really apply to this game, because the narratives are pretty quick and straightforward, and you don't feel like you're left having to complete novels worth of reading. The interactions between our main character and the inhabitants of planet Ava quite often left me with a smile on my face, and I feel they've really been created with the idea in mind that you're meeting a person from an extraterrestrial or unknown planet and experiencing some differences when communicating with them. Despite the fact that I think the Nam are a great addition to the game and storyline, I do perhaps think there could have been some more implementation of different Nam character designs that are more area specific, as not to have them all looking really similar. But let's talk about the tech. At the beginning of the game, you are taken through a short yet really helpful tutorial before embarking on your journey across planet Ava, and by the end of it, you're provided with a very high-tech camera, which is going to be one of your key items in the game, as you'll need to take pictures of both withered and unwithered creatures. The aim of taking pictures of the creatures you stumble upon is to complete your Avapedia journal, which is a complete record of the creatures you've encountered around Ava. But when you photograph the creatures, you also learn a little more about which actions they can help with, which special abilities they have, but I'll cover more on why this is important later on. Even aside from its main uses though, if you're someone that appreciates a photo mode inside of a video game like I do, then you'll be pleased to know that you can also just use it for capturing artistic shots of majestic creatures in the wild and save those photos to your gallery. Moving on to the next, but equally just as important item that you'll have with you at all times during the game, and that is the flute. If you've seen trailers or gameplay footage of Creatures of Ava before, it's likely that the musical instrument has played a fairly big part in it. Playing music is how you will tame and befriend creatures in the game. The flute can play 8 notes, and it's a case of simply hovering them on a wheel with the flute equipped in your hand. And if you're thinking, well, Harrie, I have no musical talent, otherwise I'd be playing an actual instrument instead of watching this video, well, firstly, same, but secondly, that's okay, because you don't need to. When you approach wild creatures with a flute in hand, they will play you the song of their kind, indicated by a handy diagram above their head, so it really isn't that tricky to get wrong. Simply play their tune back to them and they'll start following you around like groupies to a rock band. And this is a particularly useful skill to have, because what Vic is actually trying to do is lure the tamed creatures into various extraction zones across the map, indicated by those little green exclamation marks, where you can press a button and send them off to a safe bioarc in order to give them a better chance in life. It's kind of like Noah's Ark, but for cozy video games. One thing I've really enjoyed about this game is how fluid and easy it feels to transition between Naphtha, the camera, and the flute, which are going to be your 3 key tools in the game. Everything kind of works in harmony, at least when you've been using a keyboard and mouse for 25 years like myself, but if controller is your jam, I think you can also use that as well. And this kind of takes us onto our 5th point. Not only do you control our protagonist Vic in Creatures of Ava, but you also get to control a creature that you've tamed. And this is particularly helpful because some of these creatures have the ability to help you solve puzzles in the natural environment around the map, such as destroying blocking elements in your pathways. Speaking of puzzle-like elements, if you enjoy thinking strategically when you're playing video games, then you are in luck. Creatures of Ava has actual puzzles, such as trying to figure out which way round to rotate mosaic pieces to unlock key elements of the main storyline, and even though those are few and far between, sometimes the game in general has more subtle puzzle elements, like when trying to figure out which creature's abilities to use in order to bypass environmental challenges that you might face. And I couldn't carry on without talking about one thing I'm very pleased was implemented into the game, and that is of course a skill tree. Although maybe it's not as extensive as you'd find in some RPGs, which to be honest I don't really think it needs to be, Creatures of Ava does a great job at covering and allowing you to expand upon the basic components of the game, such as upgrading your staff, also known as an avatar, to be able to chain together more creatures during the curing process or absorb infections faster. You'll also be able to upgrade Vic's personal attributes such as health, stamina, and inventory slots, while also having the option to upgrade things like tools to be generally more efficient. So there we have it. Those are some of my reasons that I think you'll love Creatures of Ava if you enjoy cozy games with peaceful music, vibrant landscapes, and a fun, purpose-driven questline. Let me know in the comments if you'll pick up Creatures of Ava, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.